Chapter 1531, This divorce had better proceed quickly. No, I found someone to rent that house for me. It's got nothing to do with me. Her master had indeed left many houses for her in the capital, but she would never let Ding Ji live in any of those houses. Xiao Dongliang initially felt that Xiao Nan was wasting her money by doing that. Xiao Nan herself would never live in those houses that old Lin left to her. Since that was the case, why would she waste money renting someone else's house while leaving her own empty? But when Xiao Dongliang thought about it carefully, he finally understood Xiao Nan's intention. That's true. Anyway, it's not the time to be stingy about this sum of money. You'll save a lot of trouble by renting someone else's house. That's a good plan. If Ding Ji found out that she was staying in Nan Nan's house, it might really just end up in her hands in the end. Ding Ji might just refuse to leave and just live in the house forever, thinking that the house should belong to her since it belonged to Xiao Nan. With such thoughts, along with Xiao Zijin, Xiao Dongliang could see how such an expensive property would eventually end up in the hands of Xiao Zijin through Ding Ji. In summary, there was no other advantage to allowing Ding Ji to stay in her own house, other than saving on that little bit of rent. Ding Ji knew that Xiao Nan had to fork out a substantial sum every month to pay for her rent. Knowing Ding Ji, she would definitely try to get on Xiao Nan's good side and act carefully. Living in someone else's house, Ding Ji would not be so irresponsible as to make a mess in the house. But if it were her own house, Ding Ji might not only make a mess but might even make holes in the wall. With such an understanding, Xiao Dongliang naturally agreed with Xiao Nan's plan and thought that such an arrangement was for the best and the most worry-free. Yes. Xiao Nan responded with a word, not denying it at all. The reason why she was willing to spend that extra $500 on renting a house for Ding Ji was indeed to prevent Ding Ji from claiming her apartment as her own and then passing it on to Xiao Zijin. She did not have to think about being nice to people like Ding Ji and Xiao Zijin. She had to stay a step ahead and play the game dirty. Otherwise, the only one who would suffer was herself. All right, I won't bother you anymore. Don't fret over your mom. It has passed and everything will be fine. As long as Xiao Zijin is not by your mom's side, there will be one fewer person to put stupid ideas in her head. Even though she gets muddled sometimes, she won't cause too much of a problem. After all, she's already leading quite a comfortable life now because of you. Xiao Zijin got married and has a family and children. She won't be by your mom's side for too long. When she returns to Pingcheng, you won't have to worry even if your mom stays in the capital. Nothing else will happen. What he meant to say was that Ding Ji would become quite normal once Xiao Zijin left her side. But the most heartbreaking thing was that Ding Ji was the cause of such an abnormal Xiao Zijin. The thought of this mother-daughter pair caused two words to come to Xiao Dongliang's mind: pure evil. After she hung up the phone call, Xiao Nan busied herself with her work. Not only had Ding Ji managed to get a living allowance from Xiao Nan, but she had also gotten a place to live. Knowing where she could purchase her groceries, Ding Ji gradually started carving out her life. She did not have to worry about paying for her meals. Even her rent was paid for. Of course, under such circumstances, Ding Ji's life was such a carefree one that it was almost heartless for her to live such a comfortable life. Knowing that Ding Ji and Xiao Zijin had come to the capital, Zai Sheng could not stay still. In the earlier years, these two women had bullied Xiao Nan. But at that time, Zai Sheng was still unknown and did not have a status. He could not have possibly used his position as a neighbor to fight back against them and teach them a lesson on Xiao Nan's behalf. When the two of them got married later, Ding Ji and Xiao Zijin were threatened by Xiao Nan, and they no longer dared to show themselves before Xiao Nan. Thus, everything had been quiet for a few years, and there was no reason for Zai Sheng to do anything. But as Xiao Nan's status rose and she became a public figure within the country, there were many things that Xiao Nan had to pay attention to. And it was at this time that Ding Ji and Xiao Zijin boldly came to the capital. How could Zai Sheng possibly give up this opportunity? Isn't your family planning on getting Zhou Zhang to divorce Qiao Zijin? Since you already have such plans, I think it's better that you don't drag it on any further. Besides, the reason why you're getting divorced and why your relationship broke down is all Qiao Zijin's fault. Remember to prepare everything well before you officially propose a divorce. Many Chinese marriage laws are about the division and distribution of a couple's shared property and assets at the time of the divorce. Find a lawyer and analyze carefully what you should be getting. Only then can you make sure that you won't lose out and get taken advantage of. Understand? The Zhou family was extremely surprised to receive such a call from Zai Sheng. They knew that Zai Sheng was now the chief and was busy meeting important people daily. It was amazing that he still remembered about such unimportant people like the Zhou family. Chief Zai, do you really mean it? Zhou Zhang really did mean to get divorced from Qiao Zijin. Even before their marriage, he had not really liked Qiao Zijin. He had married her for the benefits such a marriage would bring him, but he had truly been loyal to Qiao Zijin after marriage. He had not liked the fact that Qiao Zijin was not as beautiful as his ex-girlfriend before marriage. After marriage, it was not as though there were no girls who were younger and more beautiful than Qiao Zijin who threw themselves at him. But for Qiao Zijin and for the sake of his family, he rejected them all. But Zhou Zhang had never expected that although he was able to resist all temptations and stay loyal to Qiao Zijin and his family, Qiao Zijin had gone behind his back and found a lover for herself outside. As a man, just thinking about that made Zhou Zhang want to kill Qiao Zijin. He could not understand how there could possibly be such a callous woman like Qiao Zijin. In the few years that she had been in the Zhou family, she had always been treated like a young mistress who never had to do any work. Even then, Qiao Zijin had been dissatisfied and gotten into an affair. To put it simply, Zhou Zhang could only feel disgusted on all levels at the thought of his wife, Qiao Zijin. He no longer despised Qiao Zijin. Was Qiao Zijin's heart made of stone? How could she commit such shameful acts? Chapter 1532, A Good Case. If it had been any other man in his position, when faced with such a situation, he would never be able to pretend that nothing had happened. Zhou Zhang really intended to divorce that heartless woman, Qiao Zijin. No matter who he married, no one else would have been like Qiao Zijin and returned the Zhou family's kindness with such ungratefulness. The only thing stopping Zhou Zhang and the Zhou family was the Zai family's attitude. Even if it was about their daughter, Zhou Ying, Zhou Zhang did not worry either. From a young age, Zhou Ying had been brought up by Father Zhou and Mother Zhou. Qiao Zijin being away for 2 months and not even returning for a visit did not mean much. In these entire 2 months, Qiao Zijin had never once seen her daughter, Zhou Ying. Zhou Zhang felt that Zhou Ying could not possibly have a good relationship with such a mother like Qiao Zijin anyway. He was still young, had a good family background, and had money. If he were to get divorced from Qiao Zijin, would he still stay single for the rest of his life? If Qiao Zijin wanted her daughter, Zhou Ying, that was fine too. He would hand her over. If Qiao Zijin felt that Zhou Ying was a burden, then that was fine too. Surely, Zhou Zhang could afford to provide for his daughter. Now that Zai Sheng himself had spoken, it strengthened Zhou Zhang's resolve to divorce Qiao Zijin. As long as he could divorce Qiao Zijin, anything else would be all right. Chief Zai had reminded him that indeed, nothing in his house should belong to Qiao Zijin, and Qiao Zijin should not be allowed to take anything with her. After hanging up the call, Zhou Zhang dug out all his old photos. The Zhou family was quite rich and Zhou Zhang had a stable job. But he had also started a small side business. This business was done underground and he had done it in secret in collaboration with others. In these few years, he had earned quite a hefty sum from it. Zhou Zhang had been concerned with running this business that he had not paid much attention to Qiao Zijin. It was only because he had heard some rumors about Qiao Zijin did he learn that Qiao Zijin's behavior was out of line and that she could very well have cheated on him. No man could accept such a thing. Because of the Zai family, Zhou Zhang was afraid that these were only rumors and not the truth. It would not be good if he were to wrongly accuse Xiao Zijin. Thus, Zhou Zheng seemed to do nothing on the surface. But in reality, he had found a private investigator to check up on Xiao Zijin. In less than 2 months, the private investigator indeed found that Xiao Zijin had a lover outside. The two were even showing affection publicly. Zhou Zheng had in his hands a pile of photos that showed these two people hugging and kissing and engaging in many more unethical behaviors in public. Other than that, Zhou Zheng even had photos of those two people entering and exiting a hotel together, as well as records of them getting a room together. With all these photos, he had solid proof that Xiao Zijin was cheating on him. There was no way for Xiao Zijin to deny it. After sorting all his evidence out, Zhou Zheng immediately found a reliable lawyer and explained his situation to the lawyer, asking for advice. With this mountain of evidence, the lawyer's eyes glistened. "Do you have all the evidence of your wife cheating on you here? These are the original and even the copies. Especially this photo, who has the original copy?" Zhou Zheng looked at the lawyer in confusion. "What does this have to do with my divorce case? Of course the originals are with me. Even after developing the photos, I can't afford to throw the negatives of such important evidence away." As long as he still held on to the negatives, he would still be able to continue proving that Xiao Zijin had indeed gone astray in their marriage even if the photos went missing. Zhou Zheng did not trust anyone with such important negatives, and so, he kept them himself. The lawyer pushed his glasses up the bridge of his nose. "That may be so, but if it's possible, you can actually leave those negatives with me." Zhou Zheng hesitated and felt that the lawyer was acting rather strangely. If his friend had not been the one to recommend this lawyer, Zhou Zheng would already have found someone else. Even after understanding the situation between him and Xiao Zijin, the lawyer kept discussing the evidence rather than giving him practical advice. For example, he wanted to know the chances of him being able to get a divorce from Xiao Zijin without giving her a single cent. The lawyer bit on the corner of his lip, realizing that he had been too careless. Zhou Zheng was not a fledgling kid who was that easy to control. "Don't get me wrong. If it's not convenient, that's fine too. I was just giving you a suggestion. Don't worry. With these photos, there should be no problem with your case. I have confidence that you'll win this case." The evidence was all here. What else could be said? Even if Zhou Zheng was willing to hand over the negatives, the lawyer would still not be sure if Zhou Zheng had handed all the evidence he had on hand over or whether he still had some other evidence hidden away. If he really did have some hidden away, there was no way he could help Chen Jun either, even if Zhou Zheng handed the photos over. Sigh. Since they were old classmates, he would try to help out in any way possible. But if there was really no way of helping, he was not going to put himself in a tight spot either. Really? After such a long meeting with the lawyer, Zhou Zheng felt that this had been the only useful sentence that the lawyer had spoken. "We'll win this case for sure. My request is that Xiao Zijin will not be able to take even a single cent from our family. In the past few years that she's been married to me, she has never worked and brought home any money. All the money that she's spent was from me. Let's not talk about not working. She's never even lifted a finger to help out with household chores. Even when our child was still young, she would rather spend money on buying formula milk than breastfeeding our child herself." Zhou Zheng could not stop speaking once he mentioned Xiao Zijin's behavior in the past few years in the Zhou family. His tone was filled with clear disgust. It was not only Zhou Zheng. After hearing Zhou Zheng, even the lawyer had started taking a dislike to his old classmate who was all bundled up with this married woman. He could not understand why his old classmate, with an illustrious background and capabilities like him, would have no woman around him. Why did he have to do such an immoral thing and get into a relationship with a married woman of all people? "Don't worry, Mr. Zhou. I have confidence in this case. It's good that you have the originals and the negatives on hand. Just in case, you'd better keep them properly before the trial ends. As for all these on the table, I'll keep them and arrange them. If you two cannot come to a settlement amicably and need to go to court, then I'll get these ready to submit them to the court. Chapter 1533, What should they do? After saying his thoughts, the lawyer started to do his work. He helped the client handle the matter and gave him confidence. Thank you very much, Lawyer Dai. After getting a satisfying answer, Zhou Zhang revealed his first smile today. After shaking hands with Lawyer Dai, he walked back to his house with light footsteps. After he got a divorce with Jiao Zijin, he could usher in his brand new life. What Zhou Zhang didn't know was that after he left, Lawyer Dai made a call. The recipient of the call was none other than the male lead in the photos he had on hand. Hello? Is this Chen Jun? It's me, Dai Liang. Do you still remember this old classmate of yours? I remember, of course I remember. I remember when you were in university, you studied law. You should be a big lawyer now, right? Where are you working at? Chen Jun welcomed old classmates like Dai Liang, who was a lawyer. If old classmates connected more often and had deeper feelings for one another, it would be more convenient to do certain things if anything happened in the future, right? Where else can I work at? I'm from Pingcheng. Of course I returned to Pingcheng. It's just that I took a longer time to study law, thus I graduated 2 years later than you. Furthermore, I don't have the same type of family background as you. It's really not easy for me to make a name for myself and contact the old classmates again. Both of them worked in the same city. However, it was coincidental that not only had they not contacted each other before, but they didn't even meet each other either. If not for Dai Liang taking the initiative to call Chen Jun today, Chen Jun wouldn't have known that Dai Liang had returned to Pingcheng to be a lawyer. Haha, you're the best. Relying on yourself to become a talent. How's the business? If Dai Liang handled cases well, they could keep in closer contact in the future. Business? Business is good, of course. It's because I received a case that I'm giving you this call. Has your email address changed? I'll send something to you. As Dai Liang said, he opened up his notebook and uploaded the photos that Zhou Zhang left behind so that he could send them to Chen Jun. No changes. Why? Your newly received case has something to do with me. Otherwise, Dai Liang wouldn't have called him out of the blue. You'll find out after looking at it. Old classmate, it isn't that I want to say this of you, but if word of this spreads, you won't be labeled as flirtatious. You'll only be known as despicable. Anyway, he didn't have any evil thoughts toward his woman. After Dai Liang's email was sent, Chen Jun opened it to take a look. His face went pale. These photos. Your woman's husband gave them to me. Her husband wants to get a divorce and your lover to get out of the house. He has too much evidence on his hands. Not only does he have these intimate photos between the two of you, but he even has records of you checking into hotel rooms. Your little lover can't win this case. She will definitely be kicked out of the house. How do you wish to handle this? Actually, there wasn't much to handle. As he said, the outcome of the lawsuit was already decided. There wouldn't be any changes. At most, his call would let Chen Jun know about the situation so that he would be mentally prepared for it. Dai Liang knew that the Chen family's situation wasn't as good as before. However, a lean camel was bigger than a horse. Compared to him, a poor lad who didn't have any family background, Chen Jun naturally had more means than him. As such, Dai Liang's call was to sell Chen Jun this piece of news to obtain a favor. What do you mean how to handle it? You should know what to do. You understand women. There's no need to be too serious or mindful. Everyone's out to play. I'm quite surprised it has come to this. I'm married and have a family. They can get a divorce but I can't. It's okay. You can just do what you have to do. There's no need to worry about me. Oh, right, thanks for the call. This shouldn't affect you in any way, right? If you don't say anything, there will be no impact. Chen Jun was a smart person. If he didn't mention it, Chen Jun should also understand that this matter couldn't be talked about. That's great. Let's meet for a meal sometime soon. If there's a chance in the future, we can keep in contact. Chen Jun didn't take his extramarital affair with Xiao Zijin to heart. Xiao Zijin couldn't bear loneliness and he was just casually playing with her. He had invested so much in Xiao Zijin's body back then. Then, they split up and the money he had spent previously was in vain. Until today, Chen Jun still felt heartache over it. Who knew that they hadn't met in a few years, and once they did, Xiao Zijin had thrown herself at him. Back then, they had dated for a long time. He had kissed Xiao Zijin but didn't sleep with her. It would be a waste not to sleep with her since she had thrown herself at him. Furthermore, it wasn't as if he did it for free. The money he spent on Xiao Zijin could let him sleep with the best prostitutes in Pingcheng for 2 to 3 months consecutively. In other words, in Chen Jun's eyes, Xiao Zijin was just a more expensive lady than the youngest and prettiest lady in a hotel. She was no different from a prostitute. He had just seen this as a physical transaction. How was it possible for Chen Jun to sacrifice his family because of Xiao Zijin? He had never thought of getting a divorce. If he did that and found a woman like Xiao Zijin, wasn't he doomed to be unlucky for life? Okay, let's arrange again when we're free. As his goal was achieved, Dai Liang no longer wasted his phone charges. He carefully sorted out the evidence that Zhou Zheng had left behind for him so that it would facilitate him in suing Xiao Zijin in the future if their private dissolution of divorce didn't work out. One would be put in a good position if there were status and power. Within 3 days, Xiao Zijin, who was in the capital, received a call from Pingcheng Court. Xiao Zijin was informed about the situation. Now, both of you have 2 ways to resolve this. If both of you work hard to resolve this matter peacefully before the court session, then all is good. Otherwise, we will see you in court. After receiving this call, Xiao Zijin was stunned. When she first heard that she was summoned to court, her first reaction was that she had received a scam call. Only toward the end did Xiao Zijin recover and think that this call might be real. During the whole process, aside from breathing, Xiao Zijin only uttered yes and ah. After the other party hung up the call, Xiao Zijin shouted. Zhou Zheng actually dared to divorce me? Has he forgotten that if not for me, how would he have today's job and how would the Zhou family's condition become good? Ungrateful brat! After Zhou Zheng and the Zhou family found out about this, she suffered a slap and returned to her mother's house. During these 2 months, she didn't meet or date Chen Jun at all. Chapter 1534, Sense of Superiority. At the very most, she had gone to the bar and danced. Could it be that her attitude of admitting and correcting her mistake was not obvious enough? She had already given in but Zhou Zheng still wanted to divorce her. Wasn't that reaching out for a yard after taking an inch? Upon thinking about this, Xiao Zijin was so angry that she wanted to smash her phone to the ground. What's wrong? What divorce? Ding Jiyi walked out from the kitchen and saw that Xiao Zijin's eyes were red and she was shivering all over. Xiao Zijin took a deep breath. Mom, Zhou Zheng, that shameless thing, actually dared to divorce me. He even applied to the court for a lawsuit. They were even going to the courts. Xiao Zijin had no choice but to face the truth that Zhou Zheng was for real this time around and wasn't scaring her. I thought that I was wrong and broke off contact with that man outside. After these 2 to 3 months of cooling off period, Zhou Zheng should no longer be angry. Who knew that he became even more worked up? Had. Ding Jiyi smiled coldly. Did you come back because you wanted Zhou Zheng to calm down or because you wanted to deliberately leave Zhou Zheng hanging so that he would bow down and admit his mistake to you? You know it clearly in your heart. There are only us here. You don't need to say these nice-sounding words to coax me. Even if you coax me, Zhou Zheng would still want to divorce you. The way you're handling this matter is definitely wrong. You must know your mistake. The one who had someone else outside is you, not Zhou Zheng. How difficult would it be for him to be willing to fetch you home? The most important thing was that Jiaonan didn't have a good relationship with Zijin. As such, Jiaonan would definitely not be willing to use her power to help Zijin suppress Zhou Zheng so that he would bow down to her. Furthermore, Zijin was in the wrong in the first place. Jiaonan was less likely to help. Okay, tell me. What do you plan to do? What are your thoughts? If you don't want to lead a good life with Zhou Zheng, isn't it good that he wants to divorce you? If the two of you get a divorce, couldn't you be with your man outside? Since they didn't have feelings for each other anymore and she herself was a divorcee, could Ding Jiyi still stop Jiao Zijin from getting a divorce? It was just that nobody expected Jiao Zijin to receive such a call today. The Zhou family was for real. What divorce? I never thought of getting a divorce. Indeed, Zhou Zheng isn't the best, but he isn't the worst either. If I divorce Zhou Zheng, I must find another man to remarry. Why must I work so hard? It's better to spend my time with Zhou Zheng, who's an old acquaintance, Jiao Zijin said irritably. It wasn't that Jiao Zijin didn't want to get a divorce. The first day she hooked up with Chen Jun, her old lover, Jiao Zijin had already thought about the road of divorce. Between Chen Jun and Zhou Jun, Jiao Zijin was more satisfied with Chen Jun to begin with. Otherwise, after so many years of not meeting, why would Jiao Zijin just throw herself into Chen Jun's arms and have an affair with him after meeting him once again? She didn't hesitate at all, let alone think about the family she had with Zhou Zheng. The problem was that Chen Jun was unwilling for Jiao Zijin to get a divorce so that she could be with him. Only after both of them had rolled about in the sheets did Jiao Zijin remember to ask Chen Jun if he was married. Chen Jun had snorted and said, "I'm older than you. Based on the stretch marks on your stomach, you should be a mother already. Could it be that it's something overboard for me to be a father?" Both of them had split ways for about 10 years now. How was it possible that Chen Jun didn't get married and didn't have another woman by his side for these 10 years? To Chen Jun, who was once a love prodigal, this was simply a joke. If not for pursuing Jiaonan, Chen Jun would never be lacking in bed partners. After Chen Jun's sarcastic comments, Jiao Zijin felt a little wronged. One couldn't tell that they had just ended a passionate fight on the bed. "You're married? Why did you refuse to marry me back then? Actually, as long as you gave me more time, I would be able to meet your requirements. Tell me. If it was now, would you still be willing to marry me?" Forget it. She was also married now. Indeed, it wasn't too good to mind that Chen Jun had married another woman and gave birth to children. Let the past be the past. What mattered were the present and the future. What do you mean? Chen Jun raised his eyebrows. It wouldn't be what he was thinking, right? Zijin, this isn't funny at all. I don't have the intention to get a divorce. I have a pretty good relationship with my wife. Why? Are you not satisfied to be with me like this? I'm not the type of man who likes to force women. If you're unwilling to, after we walk out of this door today, we can pretend that we don't know each other and that nothing happened today. After getting married, he had played with countless women. If all of them were Jiao Zijin, requesting him to get a divorce after sleeping with him once, wouldn't that be a mess? It looked like Chen Jun was serious. Jiao Zijin's wishful thinking would definitely not come true. It wasn't easy for them to be reunited again. How would Jiao Zijin bear to just break up with Chen Jun like that? Jiao Zijin thought that since Chen Jun wasn't willing to divorce his wife now, then she had to continue to leave Zhou Zheng hanging. She believed that as time passed, Chen Jun would have a change of mind and would be willing to accept her and marry her like before. What annoyed Jiao Zijin was that before she got Chen Jun to agree to a divorce so that he could marry her, Zhou Zheng had discovered her relationship with Chen Jun first. Jiao Zijin hadn't said anything about divorcing Zhou Zheng yet when her relationship with Chen Jun had just rekindled. Now, she hadn't contacted Chen Jun for over 2 months. He also seemed not to have remembered her existence. How was Qiao Zijin willing to lose Zhou Zheng, a long-term meal ticket, when she hadn't found someone else to settle down with? By then, she would really have nothing. After receiving this call, Qiao Zijin was flustered. She didn't know what she should do so that Zhou Zheng would have a change of mind and not divorce her for the time being. Unless Chen Jun was willing to marry her, she was unwilling to divorce Zhou Zheng. It would be hard to lead a life without money. Don't want to get a divorce. Ding Jiyi didn't know what else she could say. She felt that this daughter was hopeless. You don't want to get a divorce, yet you did such a shameless thing. He has already filed a lawsuit. If you don't want to get a divorce, hurry back to Pingcheng and apologize to Zhou Zheng. If you beg the Zhou family for forgiveness, there might still be room for negotiation. Remember, after you return, you must have a good attitude. If you continue to be as arrogant as before, no one in the Zhou family would bother with you again. He hit me and I have to apologize to him? Since young, you never even hit me once. Even my father rarely hit me. It's Zhou Zheng's fault for hitting me. On what basis should I apologize to him? He should be the one apologizing. Qiao Zijin was unwilling to relent. In front of Zhou Zheng, she always had a sense of superiority. Chapter 1535, The Adulterer was Chen Jun. It was precisely because of that she felt there wasn't anything wrong with her not working and spending Zhou Zheng's money each month. In fact, she was obliged to do so. If not for her, how would Zhou Zheng get such a good job? His job was all thanks to her. It was fine for her to take all his money, let alone letting her spend a little. Fine. Then, get a divorce. Ding Jiyi didn't have anything else to say. How big a matter is it that Zhou Zheng slapped you? You went behind Zhou Zheng's back to find another man outside. That's the real and the most serious problem. Did Zhou Zheng ever touch a strand of your hair after you two have been married for so many years? I study less than you, but I'm still able to understand clearly the order of matters. Zhou Zheng treated you well. If you didn't provoke him, would he have slapped you? You asked for this slap yourself. I feel that he should have slapped you. Qiao Zijin dared to have an affair outside. Who else would Zhou Zheng hit if not her? Even if Ding Jiyi was Qiao Zijin's mother, she had to stand on Zhou Zheng's side and speak a good word for Zhou Zheng at this point in time. You talked about Zhou Zheng and said I deserve to get slapped. Are you my mother or Zhou Zheng's mother? Why are you putting in a good word for him? Qiao Zijin was so angry that she cried. She just wanted a loved one to be by her side supporting her now. Was that too much to ask for? Ding Jiyi slapped her thigh. I'm not going to talk to you. My food will be burned soon. Ding Jiyi turned off the fire before continuing. It doesn't matter whose mother I am. You only know how to cry now. People from the courts have already called, but you don't want to apologize. You don't think that you're in the wrong, and you don't want to get a divorce. You don't want so many things. I don't know how else I can help you. Hurry back to Pingcheng. This matter has to be resolved. I'm guessing even if you don't go back and appear in court, the court would rule that the both of you are divorced. Would the court not let me get a divorce with Zhou Zheng if I go back? Silly child. Haven't I said it? If you don't want a divorce, you can tell Zhou Zheng. What use is there to tell me? Ding Jiyi couldn't wait to stretch out her leg and kick on Qiao Zijin's buttocks hard. This horrible child. The older she got, the more foolish she became. She couldn't even compare to a person like her, who didn't read too many books. Ding Jiyi had already said so. Qiao Zijin didn't have any other choice. At this moment, she could only listen to Ding Jiyi's words and hurry back to Pingcheng to resolve this matter. She was afraid that it would be like what Ding Jiyi said. If she didn't return to Pingcheng and appear in court, the court would rule that the both of them were divorced. That would be terrible. Regardless of whether it worked or not, she had to return to Pingcheng and see if it was possible to beg Zhou Zhang not to get a divorce. The moment she sent Jiao Zijin away, Ding Jiyi relaxed her shoulders exaggeratedly. She felt that she had heaved a big sigh of relief. I really don't understand. She was such a good kid when she was young. Why did she become like this after growing up? Not only couldn't she compare to Jiao Nan, but she couldn't even compare to an average individual. If news of their married daughter having an affair behind the husband's back became widespread, this family would definitely become the laughingstock of everyone in the quad. It could be said that the reason why Ding Jiyi made up her mind and insisted to live in the capital instead of continuing to live in the Pingcheng quad was because of this. Jiao Zijin had stayed in her mother's house for 2 months and it looked as if she didn't have the intention to return to the Zhou family. The neighbors' questions became sharper. In the beginning, Ding Jiyi could still find some excuse to help Jiao Zijin out. After all the excuses had been used, Ding Jiyi couldn't find any other excuse to use when others asked again. She was worried that Jiao Zijin's affair would be exposed in the quad sooner or later. Rather than staying in the quad to become everyone's laughingstock again, Ding Jiyi would rather come over to the capital and rely on Xiaonan to arrange a place to live for herself. The eldest daughter whom she pampered the most was incompetent. She even had to rely on her relationship with her youngest daughter to lead a better life than an average person. Instead, the youngest daughter whom she didn't like since she was young led a better life day by day and had become a big shot. One kept being a laughingstock while the other continued to bask in glory. Even a fool knew how to choose between these two daughters. Even if her mother-daughter relationship with Jiaonan wasn't good and there wasn't a way to recover it, it was all right. As long as she was still Jiaonan's mother, Jiaonan had to provide for her. At the very most, their relationship would remain as it was. Nothing was more important than her leading a good life. At this critical moment, Ding Jiyi resolutely chose to side with Jiaonan so that she could avoid her relationship with Jiao Zijin. She didn't want everyone to laugh at her for not knowing how to teach her daughter and for teaching Jiao Zijin to be so shameless. Zai Sheng knew about it the moment Jiao Zijin left the capital. In order to make Jiaonan feel at ease, Zai Sheng told her the situation. You can sleep peacefully this time around. She wouldn't be disturbing you for a while. But I'm worried that if Zhou Zhang really gets a divorce with her, she would simply follow Ding Jiyi and stay in the capital. She would even refuse to go back to Pingcheng. If that happens, wouldn't I have more trouble? Brother Zai, do you think I'm adding trouble instead? If Jiao Zijin really gets a divorce, do you think she will be so thick-skinned to ask me to help her another time and find her a second husband? Jiaonan knew that the possibility of this was very high. Thus, she felt a headache. Zai Sheng smiled. No, Jiao Zijin has already found her love. Both of them had an affair. Jiao Zijin can't keep her marriage any longer. Chen Jun and his wife still looked fine on the surface. Based on Jiao Zijin's temper, how would she be able to tolerate such a difference? Furthermore, Jiao Zijin still seemed to be obsessed with Chen Jun, otherwise, she wouldn't have betrayed Zhou Zhang for him. Jiaonan widened her eyes. Are you for real? The man Jiao Zijin had outside is Chen Jun? That same Chen Jun in the past? That Chen Jun who later broke up with Jiao Zijin. After knowing this answer, Jiaonan didn't know what she should say as well. In the past, Jiao Zijin had double-crossed her and married into the Chen family by being pregnant with Chen Jun's child. 6 months later, they gave birth to a son. Who knew that after a few years, Jiao Zijin would find another man behind Chen Jun's back and Chen Jun had caught them in bed. She heard that the situation back then was quite chaotic. Chapter 1536, Not Afraid of Settling Scores. Chen Jun used the fastest speed to get a divorce with Jiao Zijin. When he kicked Jiao Zijin out of the house, he also made sure that she was penniless. After marrying Zhou Zhang this lifetime, Jiao Zijin would actually cheat on him with her husband in her previous lifetime. Jiaonan scratched her head. Back then, she was running around to earn money and didn't know much about Jiao Zijin's matters. The only thing she knew was that Chen Jun caught Jiao Zijin red-handed with another man. Jiao Zijin didn't want to get a divorce, but she couldn't handle Chen Jun's means. As such, she had no choice but to cry and get a divorce. In this lifetime, Jiao Zijin had married Zhou Zheng and fooled around with Chen Jun. Jiao Nan wanted to ask in particular who the man Jiao Zijin had an affair with when she was still married to Chen Jun was. In Pingcheng, the Chen family was powerful. Which brave soldier actually dared to steal Chen Jun's wife and make a cuckold out of him? Jiao Nan always felt that this matter of Jiao Zijin's was a little strange. She couldn't help but guess if the man who had an affair with Jiao Zijin when she was married to Chen Jun was Zhou Zheng. If that was really the case, Jiao Nan could only say that there was justice and one couldn't escape from their retribution. What's wrong? Why do you look so bad? Zai Sheng touched Jiao Nan's forehead. Your temperature's normal. It doesn't look like you caught a cold. Jiao Zijin's matter was quite small. Jiao Nan shouldn't have been frightened by that. Nothing. Jiao Nan shook her head. She couldn't possibly tell Brother Zai what had happened in the previous lifetime, right? Brother Zai, I'm sleepy. Let's rest quickly. You brought the children out to play this time around and must be tired as well. You just returned but had to settle Jiao Zijin's matter as well. Let's sleep quickly. I still have to work tomorrow. Chen Jun caused Jiao Zijin to get a divorce. Once Jiao Zijin was divorced, she would most likely cling to Chen Jun. Brother Zai was right. Perhaps she would be able to continue leading a good life. After the divorce, Jiao Zijin might stay in Pingcheng alone to take revenge and wouldn't rest until she achieved her aim. Anyway, there was a house in Pingcheng. If Jiao Zijin had nowhere to go, she still had the keys to the Jiao family's house. Actually, I can afford to be a little more tired. I helped you settle the matter with Jiao Zijin. Shouldn't you show some appreciation to me? As Zai Sheng removed Jiao Nan's clothes, he whispered lowly and blew some air into Jiao Nan's ear. Jiao Nan's ear turned red uncontrollably and things naturally went out of control on the bed. Remember. Don't be nervous. Look closely at the questions on the paper. Don't be in a hurry to answer them. Very quickly, the day where the triplets had to take the exams arrived. According to the usual practice, of course Jiao Nan had to send them to school. Today was different. It was rare that Zai Sheng was home. Zai Sheng said that he wanted to fulfill his responsibility as a father as well, thus he accompanied Jiao Nan to send them to school. Mom, I feel that you're more nervous than us. Bao smiled and said, Dad, remember to help us comfort Mom well. Don't worry. There wouldn't be any problem for the three of us. We will take the exams properly. You can just wait for good news from the three of us. Yes, Bao is right. San Bao nodded. Her plaid ponytail swayed as she moved, and she looked pretty. Mom, it's not early anymore. You're the boss. If you take the lead in being late, that won't be good. Hurry up and go to work. The three of us are fine. Mom, drive carefully when you're going to work. Upon thinking about the heavy traffic jams in the capital and that it was the peak period to go to work now, De Bao's expression turned ugly. It was dangerous if there were too many cars. Don't worry. The three of you can focus on taking the exams. I'll send your mom to work. After the exams are over, I'll pick you up. Zai Sheng, who was free, said that not only did he want to send the children to school and home, but he also wanted to send his wife to work and home. It really wasn't easy for Zai Sheng to get to where he was today. Since it was with much difficulty that he was promoted to the chief position and now that he had some spare time, Zai Sheng naturally wanted to make up the lost time to his children and wife as much as possible. With Zai Sheng's assurance, the triplets felt relieved and entered the school, preparing to take the exams. When they were in the car, Jiao Nan looked on as Zai Sheng fastened the seatbelt for her, just like he did before they were married, and asked, surprised, are you really going to send me to work and pick me up from work? Actually, you can rest more at home if you have the time. Qiaonan would rather Zai Sheng rest more at home. After all, she was already used to doing such things. I will rest, but I'll also send my wife and children to school, work, and home. Otherwise, what's the significance of me being a husband and a father? Didn't you see how happy the 3 children were when they heard that I'm going to pick them up later? No matter how matured the 3 children were, they would become childish and coquettish in front of their parents. Zai Sheng liked how close the triplets were to him. Qiaonan leaned against the seat and yawned. Okay, send me to work then. I'm a little sleepy, so I'll close my eyes for a while. When we're there, remember to wake me up. Otherwise, people would gossip again. Li Dayi's words inevitably traveled into Qiaonan's ears. Looking at Li Dai, who was still intending to play some tricks until now, Qiaonan found it funny. If Li Dai really had the capability to pull her off her position one day, she would rather change jobs than continue staying in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to let Li Dai order her around. Based on Li Dai's capabilities, he was still alright in doing the foundation work. However, it was laughable that he wanted to lead the entire ministry. It was good to have self-awareness. Li Dai should have some of this too. With Zai Sheng's help, not only did Qiaonan manage to sleep for 20 minutes in the car, but she was also punctual for work. Li Dai looked at Qiaonan jealously. It was unknown what he was muttering, but it felt uncomfortable. Deng Wenchang entered Qiaonan's office quickly. You should know how petty Li Dai is. Not everyone is like me, willing to work honestly under you after losing. You'd better think of something so that Li Dai can work closely with Su Xinming again. Otherwise, I'm worried that he would mess up our ministry. Qiaonan stopped her pen and smiled. You took the initiative to bring this matter up. Why? Wouldn't Peng Yu settle scores with your family? Chapter 1537, Bound to Divorce. The Peng family had made some effort for Deng Wenchang to enter the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The Peng family hoped that Deng Wenchang could take her position so that they would have a more beneficial relationship with the entire ministry. However, after she took on this position, Qiaonan was surprised to find that Deng Wenchang was calm. It was as if he had long accepted such an outcome. What was more important was that Deng Wenchang's cooperation and completion of the tasks assigned by her, the new minister, were above others. Qiaonan couldn't help but hesitate why Deng Wenchang did so. Could it be that he wanted to make her numb so that she would be careless and make mistakes easily? That way, he would have something of hers in his hands. However, as Qiaonan observed during this period, she felt that Deng Wenchang shouldn't have such an intention. It was Qiaonan's blessing to have a good worker like Deng Wenchang, who had decided to stop playing tricks and work with his full abilities. Today, Deng Wenchang had taken the initiative to mention this matter to Qiaonan. Qiaonan wanted to know in particular what Deng Wenchang was thinking. Why did Deng Wenchang, the person who should have been playing tricks, become sober when Li Dai was adhering to his foolish ways? He even specially came over to mention this to her. It was difficult for Qiaonan not to feel surprised. The Peng family isn't an issue. Deng Wenchang shook his head. Zai Sheng is capable. Even if Peng Yu didn't want to admit defeat, he has lost again and again for the past 10 years. Your Zai Sheng is already the chief now. Peng Yu is still beneath him and is now trapped in Zai Sheng's palms. If that was the case, what was there for him to be worried about? The Peng family had an ulterior motive for helping him enter the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. For the past few years, he had provided the Peng family quite a number of news. He didn't owe the Peng family any favors he should return. Speaking of this, Peng Yu couldn't fight against Zai Sheng and even lost to him, causing him to lose support and not being able to take Qiaonan out to become the next minister. Okay, Qiaonan replied. You don't have to be anxious about Li Dai. If he messes up, that's good. If not, How am I supposed to kick him out? I'm different from Senior He. It's either I don't do it, or if I do, I'll make sure Li Dai man the warehouse in the corner. However, this concerns the name of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, so I'm not comfortable and I won't allow this. Deng Wenchang smiled. It looks like not every woman is soft-hearted. Your means are harder than Uncle He's. It's fine as long as you're aware. I'll go back to work. Indeed, it would feel better to completely kick Li Dai out of the ministry. A man and a woman alone in a room. Why must they chat behind closed doors? The conversation's so long as well. Is this proper? Li Dai's eyes were like a timer. He started counting the second Deng Wenchang stepped foot into Jiao Nan's office and until he left. How gossipy, just like a woman. Someone heard Li Dai's low whispers in bad faith and responded unkindly. Li Dai's face turned green. He buried his head and didn't talk reason to the person who had scolded him. If he got into an argument and this matter became widespread, he would most likely be scolded by the entire department instead of just one person alone. The veterans in the ministry treated Jiao Nan as their junior now. They were very supportive of Jiao Nan's work. The newbies who had joined the ministry from time to time these few years treated Jiao Nan as an idol, and they looked at her with admiration. Li Dai didn't pin any hopes on these people. If he wanted to take Jiao Nan out, he had to rely on himself. Without Su Xinming's help and Deng Wenchang's support, Li Dai naturally became a general without an army and fought alone in this battle to pull Jiao Nan down. Faced with these difficulties every day, Li Dai kept comforting himself that he had to undergo both mental trials and bodily hardships to carry out the mission that heaven had descended upon him so that the benefits he reaped would be enormous in the future. The more he suffered and the less support he got, the greater his achievements would be the day he succeeded. All the pain and suffering in front of him was worthwhile. He had to persevere. Li Dai's eyes were like detection lights. He was constantly looking for opportunities to capture Jiao Nan's mistakes and fulfill his own wish. Jiao Nan continued to lead her life easily as if there wasn't a Li Dai in the department who was constantly keeping a close eye on her. Not too long later, Li Dai was like a gloomy cloud. Jiao Nan was shining brightly, making people more willing to accept her and enjoy the warm sunshine and spring breeze. Happy times were not slow for Jiao Nan. However, even if her life was carefree, Jiao Nan didn't forget about someone else's matter. When she saw Su Shenan's name displayed on her phone's caller ID, Jiao Nan's smiling face changed slightly. She let the three children play by themselves so that they kept quiet and wouldn't disturb her on the phone. "Hello, Senior Su." "Jiao Nan." Su Shenan's voice was a little hoarse. "Senior Su, are you crying?" Su Shennan sniffed. "Jiao Nan, I'm calling you today because I would like you to do me a favor. Their family is too much of a bully. He obviously cheated on me first. But his mother actually found a bunch of neighbors and aunties to criticize me, saying that my conduct was improper and that I made a cuckold out of him. It's not that I want to divorce him now. He wants to divorce me and make me leave without any compensation." Once she thought of what had happened in the past few days, Su Shennan changed her usual strong style and cried until her eyes were almost blind. Su Shennan wondered if she was too headstrong before marriage and had cried too little. Thus, after marriage, God wanted her to undergo hardship and shed all the tears that hadn't been shed in a year to make up for it. She didn't expect that before Su Shennan made a move, the other party had acted so shamelessly. "Senior Su, are you sure you want to get a divorce? Or are you trying to express your attitude via a divorce? After your husband's attitude weakens and he admits his mistakes, would you continue to maintain your marriage, give your husband a chance to turn over a new leaf, and give your child a complete family?" Jiao Nan faintly revealed that no matter how many relatives and neighbors Su Shennan's mother-in-law found, she would have ways to make Su Shennan the ultimate winner in this divorce case. Chapter 1538, In the Progress of Divorce. However, Jiao Nan was an outsider, after all. What she could do wasn't important. What mattered was how insistent Su Shennan was. Impossible. I was never bullied in school. After getting married, he was the most important person in my life. The time we spent together was longer than how parents spent time with their children. Based on how he has treated me, I've already given up. Having been bullied for the first time, am I going to be bullied a second time? If that was the case, I would have let my parents down for naming my name. When Su Shennan hesitated, she was a little foolish. However, once she made up her mind, she took out the courage equivalent to that she had when running an English club in university back then. Xiao Nan, help me. I'm getting a divorce for sure. However, as the other party was the one who cheated, he doesn't need to think of getting away with the money I deserve. I don't deny that their family had paid the down payment for the house we are living in now. However, the person who had been paying the mortgage for the past few years is me. If we are really getting a divorce, I want half of the house. When the time came, she would accept either money or the house. However, if they wanted to swallow her money and chase her out of the house, then sorry, that was impossible. Have you thought it through carefully? Are you sure you won't change your mind? I have, Xiao Nan. If possible, can the child be left to me? I'm worried that my daughter will be ruined sooner or later if she continues to live with such a family. Furthermore, in the past few years, I can see clearly that my mother-in-law likes grandsons and despises me for giving birth to a daughter. Perhaps the reason he had an affair was so that he could give birth to a son. I'm willing for my daughter and me to give up our positions at home. There was only one child in the family and they didn't treat her daughter well. If that man remarried and gave birth to a son in the future, where would her daughter stand in the family? They didn't like her daughter, but she treated her as her precious. Okay. Xiao Nan relaxed and smiled. Since you have this intention, listen to me now. The repayment of mortgage must have been through your salary. Go to the bank now and pull out the monthly and yearly bills where you have paid the mortgage. Keep them safe. Also, you should be quarreling with them now. Bring your daughter back to your parents' house. They wouldn't stop you. At this point in time, don't ever let them have a chance to keep in contact with your daughter or even bring her away. Xiao Nan wasn't worried about anything else. She was afraid that the other party would be too shameless and use this child to threaten Su Shennan to give up her everything. Don't worry. I have already inquired about all of these. I will take note. I'm not going to let them take my daughter away and use her to threaten me. Su Shennan had listened to Xiao Nan's advice. Before making this call, she did ask for a lawyer's opinion. It was difficult to say everything clearly in a short period of time. Most importantly, if they really went to court, it was useless to just use words alone. In order for the court to pass judgment, they would require a lot of supporting evidence. Su Shennan was lacking in evidence now. Although the other party wasn't from the capital, they had stayed in the capital for a long period of time and interacted better than Su Shennan. A bunch of neighbors had come out and said that Su Shennan left early and returned late, totally unlike a daughter-in-law at all. She put on makeup and wore dresses every day, looking indecent. Evidence like these would affect the final judgment of the lawsuit. As such, if Su Shennan wanted to win, she had to come up with stronger supporting evidence and let the judge know that in their marriage, the man was the party who had been irresponsible to the family. On this point, Su Shennan couldn't do it herself. However, Xiao Nan could. After knowing that Su Shennan had such a friend, the lawyer told Su Shennan to find this friend for help so that they could have all the supporting evidence on hand. With the evidence, he would proceed with the next steps. One had to know that this wasn't the first time he was fighting such divorce lawsuits, especially the kind of lawsuits where the man was the one who had an affair but he maligned the woman and even found others to provide false evidence. Once these were verified, it was without a doubt that they would win this lawsuit. Okay. Let's do this then. After hanging up the call with Su Shennan, Xiao Nan called someone else. This person was considered Zai Sheng's comrade, although he was retired. What was strange was that this man with a talentless hobby actually opened a detective agency. In this society where it was better to get ahead in life by abandoning one's scruples than to suffer poverty, the detective agency's business wasn't bad. Xiao Nan provided Su Shennan's information to the other party, wanting him to try and take as many substantive photos as possible so that substantive evidence could be obtained. Xiao Nan even speculated. If you know who the woman is, maybe you can start with her. I know that this man's family favors males. Even his mother has stood out to put on such a big act. It might be that not only is the woman he is having an affair with is pregnant, but she might also be pregnant with a son. It could only be due to this reason that the mother and son pair would be so impatient to force Su Shennan away and let the third party and her son take her position. No problem. The other party said with interest, sister-in-law, don't worry. It's either you don't find me for this matter, or if you do, I'll make sure to complete this task and not throw our chief's face away. If he couldn't complete this task, wouldn't the chief lose face in front of sister-in-law in the future? The only way to prevent people from knowing is not doing it. A lot of things were already presented on the table. It wasn't a difficult thing if Su Shennan wanted a divorce and got back everything she deserved over the years. Once Su Shennan brought her daughter back to her parents' house, she told the teachers in school clearly that only she or her parents could pick her daughter up from school. If the child's grandmother or father came to pick her up, the school teachers must not release her to them. If they created trouble, regardless of when it was, the teachers should call her immediately so that she could settle it. Xiao Nan was really not worried for nothing. After Su Shennan finished talking to her daughter's teacher, the child's father walked into the school shamelessly within 3 days and insisted on fetching the child away. It could only be said that this father was a failure. When they were at home, even if Su Shennan was busy, she would be the one to pick her daughter up and care for her the most. When she was busy at work, her mother-in-law would pick her up. As she liked grandsons, she would always be in a bad mood when picking her granddaughter up. From time to time, she would even call her granddaughter a money pit, wasting the big house her son had bought. Don't think that all children are young and thus insensible. They could actually understand what the adults were saying. Even if they didn't understand, based on the other party's expression and tone alone, it wasn't difficult to differentiate if the other party liked or hated them. Chapter 1539, Breaking It with Actions. Her paternal grandma had a bad temper, and her father did not care about others. Naturally, the ones that the little girl was most fond of were her mom and maternal grandparents. The moment she saw her father come toward her in a threatening manner similar to the bad guys she saw on television, she did not even wait for a reaction from her teacher before she burst out in tears, refusing to let her father come any closer. When her father drew closer, the little girl hid behind her teacher as though she was playing a game. In the end, the teacher informed Su Shennan about the situation. The moment Su Shennan arrived and threatened to involve the police, the other party had no choice but to leave in a rage. After this fiasco, Su Shennan placed more importance on picking her child up from school. Less than a week after that incident, everything Xiao Nan needed was placed in front of her. Seeing the ultrasound pictures of that mistress, Xiao Nan laughed coldly. It was just as she had predicted. See for yourself, Senior Su. Su Shennan's hand that held the ultrasound pictures shivered furiously. No wonder. No wonder he had been keeping the fact that he had a mistress from her until recently. Or perhaps it was not even that she had discovered it. Perhaps that Bast *RD pair had purposely let her discover the truth. He's clearly trying to pick a fight with me so that other people will misunderstand that I'm being unreasonable. This way, he'll be able to chase me out of the house for her to take my place. Are you going to sue him? Xiao Nan asked. With evidence, everything would be much easier. Su Shennan's breath was unstable. Not at the moment. Junior Xiao, don't be angry. I have my concerns. My daughter doesn't have a good relationship with them. But after all, they are her grandma and father. I don't want my daughter to have such a bad impression of her closest relatives, lest it leave a scar on her young mind. I'll try to settle it privately with them first. In short, I don't want what's not mine. They can dream on about taking what's mine. So we should just separate amicably. As a mother herself, Xiao Nan calmed down quickly. You're right about this point. Junior Xiao, just in case, can you lend me a hand? I don't have roots in the capital, and neither do I know many people. On the other hand, they have so many neighbors and relatives. I'm just afraid that since they can't defeat me now that I have evidence, they might try to use force against me. If the evidence that her junior had found were to be snatched away, there was really nothing else she could do. I'd rather be seen as petty than be the one getting hurt, Su Shennan said as she cupped her face. She had been faced with too much lately to the point she was about to collapse. Could they really not get through the 7-year itch? Xiao Nan pushed the glass of warm water in front of Su Shennan. No matter how hot the weather was, she knew that Su Shennan's heart must be as cold as winter. Your idea to have people back you up just in case is good. Keep this phone well. When you meet them, call this number and he will solve it for you. I've told him about your problem. Don't worry. It made no sense for only one person to worry about this problem. This comrade of Zai Sheng had not only opened a private investigation company but also a security company. If they wanted to find a few people to scare others away, it was only right to find this comrade of his. She had always been addressed as an elder sister, and the other party's voice also seemed rather youthful. That was why Xiao Nan did not even know that this comrade was actually older than her by 2 years. Without Zai Sheng as an elder brother, she would be the one addressing the comrade as elder brother instead. Thank you. Su Shennan accepted Xiao Nan's help quietly. At this point in time, she did not know what else to say to Xiao Nan. What Xiao Nan did not know was that once she passed this phone over, Xiao Nan had not only helped Su Shennan get rid of this tragedy of a marriage, but she had also helped welcome Su Shennan's true happiness. If a bad guy did not cherish a good girl, there would naturally be a wise man who would pick this gem up and take good care of it. Everything has been settled. Seeing that Xiao Nan's eyebrows were no longer furrowed, Zai Sheng knew that Su Shennan's problem had more or less been resolved. Thinking about Xiao Nan's enthusiasm toward Su Shennan, Zai Sheng was a little unhappy. First, it was Shi Qing. Now, it's your senior Su. May I ask Minister Qiao when you are going to care more about your husband? When have I not cared about you? Xiao Nan replied in a relaxed manner, showing how firm she was about this. Brother Zai, don't you know that after this incident with Senior Su, my love toward you has only been ever increasing? Brother Zai, how did I ever find and marry such a wonderful man? If it were not for you, I might have stayed single my whole life. If you didn't meet me, you wouldn't get married at all. Fine. With Xiao Nan's coaxing, it was as though Zai Sheng swallowed a whole bowl of ice. He felt refreshed from the inside out. Eating ice in June was the best feeling ever. He heard Xiao Nan reply with a word, yes. Her ears flushed red and she nodded vigorously. If I hadn't met you, I'd rather not marry anyone and just stay single. Xiao Nan was not the least bit embarrassed to say that. After all, hadn't she been single up until her death in her past life? But, Brother Zai, if you hadn't met me, would you still get married to some other woman? Xiao Nan did not believe that with his status, a man in his 40s like Zai Sheng would be able to stay unmarried. Even if I got married, I would get divorced. Zai Sheng was clear of his own temper. He knew that even if he were to get married, the relationship would not last. Not all women are so independent like you and are busier than me. And not all women can bear such loneliness. At least, none of the women that I've met could take it. Actually, there were only a few women whom Zai Sheng had met. But he insisted that Xiao Nan was the only one who could have done it amongst all of them. Xiao Nan was upset and threw a small tantrum. So he meant that in his past life, he had not only gotten married but had also married someone other than her. As for whether he got divorced or not, Xiao Nan did not care. She cared only about whether he got married or not. He could only get divorced if he got married. In both lifetimes, this was her first marriage. In comparison, Zai Sheng had already been married once. Seeing that Jiao Nan was throwing a tantrum, Zai Sheng was helpless. He could not understand what Jiao Nan was angry about. After all, this was all hypothetical. Looking at the clock next to the bed, he realized that it was almost 10, so he turned over and used his physical strength to comfort Jiao Nan. Chapter 1540, Division of Assets. Nan Nan was too free. That was why her thoughts wandered. If Nan Nan was busier, perhaps that would be better. With this thought in mind, Zai Sheng wasn't polite to Jiao Nan at all. It had already been more than 10 years since they fell in love. The 7-year itch had never happened to them before. On the contrary, when the two of them were together, they often gave people the feeling that they were very sweet. Xiao Nan entrusted Su Shennan's matter fully to Zai Sheng's comrade friend. However, Xiao Nan knew a little of the follow-up development regarding Su Shennan's divorce. During the first few years of marriage, Su Shennan's man had performed well. He was honest and cared about his family. Knowing that his wife was busy at work and had to do overtime often, he practically pushed away all opportunities of overtime and socializing. He would return home after work to take care of his daughter. At that time, Xiao Nan felt that Su Shennan was quite blessed to have found such a husband. However, at this moment, Xiao Nan no longer thought so. She could only say that this man was too cunning. This man didn't work overtime and had stayed at home for a longer period of time. On the surface, it looked as if he had invested more time in this family than Su Shennan. How touching was it for a man to stay at home to bring up the child? However, Su Shennan lived with her mother-in-law. With her mother-in-law around, how would she let her son take care of her granddaughter? Everything should have been done by her mother-in-law. Instead, a man who was lazy to work overtime and would lie on the bed once he reached home actually became more family-focused than Su Shennan. After all, once the door was shut, aside from the people in this family, would any outsiders know what kind of life this family was leading? Xiao Nan didn't know about this in the past. She heard from Su Shennan recently that her mother-in-law and husband favored sons. As such, it was impossible for the man to have taken care of the child. Even if the grandmother was taking care of the child, her attitude toward her wouldn't be any better. Otherwise, why would the child like her maternal grandmother more although she had spent more time interacting with her paternal grandmother? Xiao Nan also found out about this point only recently. After buying the house, aside from the down payment, Su Shennan had been paying the mortgage alone. That man didn't work overtime and received a basic salary every month. However, these wages weren't handed over to Su Shennan. Instead, he kept it in his own pockets. To put it bluntly, Su Shennan had been paying everything for the house except for the down payment. If that man hadn't created the image of a good man, Su Shennan wouldn't have had to work herself so hard and do the overtime that the man was supposed to do so that the mortgage could be paid off as soon as possible. Now, most of the mortgage had been paid off and there wasn't much left. As such, that mother and son pair felt confident that they no longer had to rely on Su Shennan to pay off the mortgage. If they saved a little more, they could pay off everything within a few years. Thus, they laid out the cards to Su Shennan, wanting both the grandson and the house. That mother and son pair had really taken all the good things in this world. However, one couldn't always get what they wanted. How were things that simple? With Xiao Nan's help, Su Shennan very quickly obtained evidence of her man's affairs. This man was too arrogant. When he brought his mistress to the hospital for an obstetrical examination, he claimed to be her husband. Not only were the bills and money deducted from this man's salary, but he had also signed on all the necessary procedures. With these receipts and evidence, he couldn't run away from the label of having an affair. There were cracks in their relationship and they couldn't continue their marriage. It was naturally easier to get a divorce. Furthermore, both parties had the intention to get a divorce now. The last point of contention was the division of assets after the divorce. The man expressed that he wanted their daughter, thus he wanted to have a bigger share of the assets. After all, this sum of money was for their daughter. Moreover, he asked Su Shennan to give their daughter a monthly living allowance of 2,000 yuan. Although their daughter was still young, a lot of money was spent on her studies. That was especially so since Su Shennan liked their daughter to learn this and enroll in that. Of course, she had to continue studying those that she had already started learning. Su Shennan had to be responsible for this amount of money partially. Not only that. That man even set the condition of hoping Su Shennan could pay off their daughter's living allowance of 10 years in one go. He didn't want to be a debt collector and keep asking Su Shennan for money every month. This was unsightly for both parties. Both of them had shared the same bed for almost 10 years. Even if they had gotten a divorce, they were still friends. For their daughter, they didn't need to get themselves into an embarrassing situation. It was better for everyone to be more polite with each other. That man's requests sounded reasonable on the surface. Only the people who understood the truth knew how overboard and shameless this man's requests were. Seeing that the other party's lawyer had a hypocritical smile, Su Shennan's lawyer didn't bother to talk nonsense to them. He threw out a bunch of evidence. We understand your requests. However, before determining the specific details of the divorce, perhaps you would be interested to look at these things. These photos and photocopied documents have proven that your client had an affair and betrayed my client. We are all lawyers. Under such circumstances, we all know it in our hearts who it will be more beneficial to if we go to court. Besides, their daughter isn't very young. I feel that it is more important to respect the opinion of the child when it comes to whom she wants to follow after the divorce. Furthermore, your client is going to be a father again soon. From these photos, it's not hard to tell that he's looking forward to the child in this woman's belly and is very touched that he's going to be a father again. I think after this child is born, your client shouldn't have so much time to take care of 2 children, right? When Su Shennan's lawyer took out the evidence, the man's lawyer changed his face almost immediately and looked at the man with unkind eyes. When it was determined that they could be going to court, the lawyer had asked him a number of times if he had committed any wrongs during this marriage and if the woman had any evidence of it on her hands. That man told his lawyer time and time again that he didn't commit any mistakes and it was purely because their relationship had broken down. They couldn't lead their lives together anymore and both parties had agreed to a divorce. The only reason why they were inseparable at the moment was because of the division of assets after the divorce.